Hey, what's up, everybody, and Happy New Year. I know that we had recorded last episode with Shelby before the New Year, so I just wanted to make sure I said Happy New Year to everybody this February. So how's 2022 going so far? Is it going good? Is it better than 2021? Is it not? We started the new year on the East Coast with a snowstorm that knocked out our power for a couple of days. So it seems like the last few Januaries have really had a way of killing the New Year vibe in that way. But we made the best of it, and we got a hotel with some friends of ours who were COVID negative because Omicron is a thing, and we played some board games. And if I've learned anything over the last 2 years, I think it's just that we need to roll with the punches. And this too shall pass, and that my attitude won't change the external factors around me. So while you're waiting for your own storm to pass, I'm so happy that you chose to listen to this podcast. So welcome back to Nursing Uncharted, a podcast that explores different types of nursing while highlighting ambassadors in their fields. What do you guys want to learn about this year? What are some things, what kind of nursing is there a particular field of nursing that you're interested in? Do you know somebody who might be a really great fit to talk about a particular realm of nursing? Let us know and send us a DM on our Instagram, Nursing Uncharted, because I would love to tailor this year to what you guys want to learn about and what you're interested in. So please, we would love your feedback. So today's episode is a realm of nursing that I know nothing about. And if you've listened before, you know that some of those are some of my favorite topics to learn about, talk about. So today we are going to be talking about military nursing. And I have the privilege of having a dear friend of mine here to talk about this realm of nursing from her base in South Korea. So here to talk about military nursing is Arianna Flowers. Ari is a Army ER and trauma nurse. She graduated from James Madison University with her BSN and was commissioned into the Army at the same time as a second lieutenant in 2014. She has been in the Army for 7 years so far, and she's done a couple types of nursing within the Army. She's currently stationed in Korea with her family. She is a great ambassador for the military and plans on making it a career. So, Ari, thanks for coming on the show today. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Maggie. Good morning.
Thanks so much for being on. I'm excited to talk because, you've only done military nursing and I've only done, civilian nursing, I guess. So I'm hoping that we can, paint a picture of how we're different. So just tell me a little bit about your course in military nursing over the last 7 years in regards to where you've been and types of nursing.
Yeah. So like you said, it started out in 2014 when I graduated JMU with you. And so I commissioned and graduated the same day. Went to BOLIT first in San Antonio, which is just a basic officer leadership course where you just kind of learn drill and ceremony, some basic officership. It's kind of like an introductory thing, which we got a lot of out of ROTC, but everyone goes through it. Then I went to El Paso, stayed there for 3 years, did med-surg nursing, and then I applied to the course to do ER nursing. So from there, I went to San Antonio. I stayed another 3 years, and that's where I worked at the Level 1 Trauma Center. So I did the course, which is a few months long, then worked in the facility, and then came here to Korea, and I've been here for a year and a half. So I've done med-surg and ER and little trauma.
And when you say course, that's like an orientation of sorts, or it's...
So for us, we all start out med-surg. So you are required. If you're a ROTC grad like myself, you're required to do 2 to 3 years of med-surg before you can branch out. And so if you want to do L&D, psych, public health, OR, and then ER and ICU, you have to go to a course and it changes your identifier. So me and my husband went to the same course. And so he graduated as an ICU nurse and I graduated as an ER nurse. So I'm what you call a Tango and he's a Sierra.
Cool. A lot of people go back and forth in civilian nursing as far as like, should you do med surg first before you like go to other places? And that's so interesting that military was like, yes, you need to do.
You have no choice. The only
first.
workaround would be like if you join the military, right? You've already had experience, so
Yeah.
you wouldn't be forced to do that. That's something you would like work out with your recruiter. But for us, like baby nurses, you have to go med surg, and we actually have something that's similar in my mind to like nurse residency. It's called CNTP, and so you're with a preceptor for the first 6 months. And
nice.
That's what you do. I think it's helpful because you don't know anything when you graduate school. You
for sure.
You know, but you know nothing.
So it's like, okay, Jon Snow.
Thank you. I need somebody to help me.
Yeah. I mean, and normally orientation for civilian nurses, at least for Gen Med, I think it's 3 months. And then if there's like an MU, it's 4 months. And the ICU, I think it's 6 months. It's so only if you're doing ICU. But like as a baby nurse anywhere in Gen Med, you're like, I don't know anything. I don't want to be by my own.
No, not at all. Like I've seen this before in a book.
Right. Yeah. Like I have this badge, but I don't know, you know, this says RN, but I feel so like I know nothing.
Absolutely. And then for us too, it's like you're a baby nurse, but you're also a brand new officer. So you like double know nothing, right? Like, I mean, it's good. Everyone knows like a gold bar. You don't know much. It's okay. But you've got people coming up to you like, hey, ma'am, or hey, sir. You're like,
oh, yes.
I think I should know something, but sure.
I feel like you just kind of fake it till you make it. I feel like for a little while until you like have more experience and then you just get more relaxed about things.
Sure.
But, oh man. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those are rough years. And it's years. It's, you know, until you get really confident.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm just now starting to get confident, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you don't like, it doesn't phase you when you start to get confident. And then you're like 8 years in, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this.
You like start to realize like people are asking you stuff or like coming to you for something. And you're like, oh, okay. I guess that's because I know something. Let me help you. I've done this before. Right.
I know. As a traveler, do they have military traveler? Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah.
I mean, we travel by virtue of moving every 3 years.
Yeah, right. You guys are by trade travelers. What's a normal, like how long are you stationed at one spot normally?
Usually 2 to 3 years. Korea is the exception. It was a year, and I think now that's getting changed. But because my husband and I came together, it was 2 years for us. Because we came with our family and we're dual. But it's usually between 2 to 3 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it gives you enough time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. How have you liked it so far in Korea?
I like it. I wish. I think COVID makes it kind of difficult to
like see really things and
do anything.
Travel.
But the people are great and the food is good. So, I mean, those two things are all I really need to make me happy. But it's been pretty good. I can't complain.
Awesome. Have you like really embraced like Korean food in like your everyday, or do you still eat like American food, you feel like?
I still eat a lot of American food. I try real hard with these chopsticks and it's just not for me. Like, my word, I just can't. And so I just, we were going out to eat for a little while, but now we're kind of like on a little lockdown. And I would always just like, may I have a fork or a spoon? I'm sorry. And then I learned they like hide it in the table. It's in the table.
They're like,
I don't have to ask anymore.
We know.
Yeah. They're just like, look, American, it's right there. I'm like, I got this. I can do this. I can handle this. Yes. I almost considered like starting to bring my own. Then I was like, no.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just so bad. I'm just terrible at it. It's awful.
Hilarious. They're like, we know that you guys are coming. It's under the table.
Yeah. They're just like,
your
there's a drawer. Open it. to like bring it with my food. Like,
Oh my
thanks.
gosh.
Appreciate you. Sorry.
That's awesome. Did you always know you wanted to be a military nurse?
No. And then, when I was in high school, I was like, I'm not joining the military. And my mom, moms know everything. She's like, I think you will. I was like, okay, sure. And I actually did Air Force ROTC for a year. But at
Hmm.
JMU, I had to go to UVA every week. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a drive.
So yeah, that was kind of like, and my dad was Air Force, so I just thought I was gonna go Air Force. And
Mm.
then I don't know who I met that was like, you should try Army. So I did a day with them at JMU, and they were just so welcoming. And after talking to some people, I felt like I was gonna have a lot of opportunities that interested me on the Army side.
Mm.
And so then I don't know, I just kept going. I was
Yeah.
like, I like this. Why not? And then I thought about it more. I was like, when I graduate, it would be a privilege to take care of soldiers and their families. And so I was like, all right. It just kind of worked out. And then I just kept going.
Yeah.
And now I love it. So I'm really
Was
happy
it,
that it
yeah.
worked out.
Was it hard to in college? I feel like now you're just probably so good at juggling so many hats, like because you've done it for so long. Like in college, was it hard to like juggle ROTC and nursing school at the same time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
2 out of 5 stars would not
definitely.
recommend.
Yeah, it was, for a while there, it got kind of difficult. So I and at JMU, my class for ROTC, it was just me and another girl who were nursing students in
You're
ROTC.
kidding.
So towards the end, I remember like our junior senior year, like things started picking up for nursing school too,
Hmm.
obviously, right?
Hmm.
And so I told my cadre, I was like, I have like a lot of homework. I have a lot of studying to do because I had ROTC classes as well. So I graduated with a minor in leadership because of all the classes you take for ROTC.
Hmm.
And there's a class, there's a lab, you know, we had PT. I was PTing every Monday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
and Friday. I remember I had to get approval to not PT on Fridays because my clinical was 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. I was like, yeah, I can't, I'm not coming at 5 to PT.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
this is
After a
not,
12-hour shift, and then you have to be
yeah,
your best.
yeah. I mean, and they worked with me. So it was
That's good.
fantastic, but it definitely took some juggling. But I will say what's really nice is when you're in college, you have someone called a brigade nurse counselor. And so it's an officer who's a nurse, and they have a bunch
Mm.
of different schools, and they would come check on you. And
Cool.
it's nice because like all of my army instructors were all infantry people. So it's not like they really knew about nursing.
Yeah.
But your brigade nurse counselor can like bridge that gap and kind of help explain
Ah,
things. And my cadre at JMU was like phenomenal. And so they helped me with like everything. They're like, what do you need? Like you'll make up your schoolwork for ROTC at another time, but like, what do you need? And so they made sure I was successful. But
that's
it
awesome.
definitely set me up for success for learning how to multitask because you had no choice.
Yeah.
You have to,
I
which
feel
is
like
okay.
when you're so insanely busy and you have no time to do anything else is like when you sometimes are the most productive
Oh,
and
yeah.
like you do the best and you're because there's just no time to procrast. There's no time to be lazy.
Oh, yeah. You get 30 seconds to cry starting now. Okay. And
Yeah,
then
right.
when you're done, you're
Ah,
done. Yeah.
yes.
Just let it out and then keep going.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so, yeah, do you feel like, I mean, so tell me a little bit about like the different hats that you juggle now.
Oh, gosh. So now, um, I guess it would be right. Mom, soldier, nurse, those three, and
Yes.
wife, right? I'm
Right?
that too when I see him. Um, but so now it is kind of confusing. So I work in the ER, but I am what's called borrowed manpower. So I don't
Okay.
belong to the ER here. And actually, this installation is kind of different. None of us really belong to the ER. We all belong to different units.
Hmm.
But I belong to an FRSD, which is a forward resuscitative surgical detachment. And so it's a 20-man unit. And what we do is we provide far forward damage control, resuscitation, and surgery. So it's pretty cool. I'm one of 2 ER nurses on the team. So it's 2 of everything. So we have an ER nurse, an ICU nurse, and 2 LVNs, medics, OR techs, and then our docs. So general surgeons, OR or orthopedic surgeons, and ER docs. And basically, our whole purpose is within 4 hours, we can pick up, take all our stuff, and go where we need to go, and surgerize
set up a whole.
Yeah, resuscitate any prone patients and get them sent out. And so that's my primary assignment here. And naturally, I still have to work in the ER because that's a perishable skill. Like you still need to do your job.
Yeah.
So I split my time here. I work with my unit and then I work in the ER.
Okay. I see. Gotcha. And then what do you do with your unit? Because I'm sure it's like on an as needed basis that you have to go out, and I know you were doing an exercise recently, right?
Yeah. We just did an exercise to make sure we can do what we do, right? For me as an officer, every unit is different. Some units are able to spend more time with their FRSD. It just depends on what the need is, and COVID's just changed everything drastically. But I spend 1 day a week for sure with my unit, and we PT, and then we do training. Honestly, what we do day to day is just like so different. I have a tactical military driver's license because there's 20 of us and we have vehicles and they need to be maintained. And so
you have to drive like one of those tanks.
Not a tank, but like an LMTV. So like a very, very large military vehicle that you can like put people and stuff in the back. Yeah. So I can drive those, and I do, because you have to drive them every month. So we do that, either driving our vehicles, weapons, maintaining our weapons, going to qualify. We always PT together every morning. Sometimes we do didactic. It's nice because we have so many smart people in one room. Like, we have CRNAs on the team too.
Cool.
So we'll have a CRNA will give a lesson on, airways or whatever they want to talk about.
That's awesome.
Drugs. They love their drugs. So we'll do a little didactic, then we'll do hands-on. We do like dead tissue labs sometimes, just a lot of just training, just a lot of training.
Yeah. A lot of like continuing education and stuff, and get that's awesome.
Yes. Got to stay medically relevant.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and like us, we do a lot of modules, and like you do teaching and stuff every now and then, and like there's a lot that's like heavy right when you start a job, but like you're up to you to do like continuing education stuff, and a lot of it is online. So it's cool that you have to like do a lot of hands-on things, and you go to
sure, yeah.
Tons.
Don't worry, we've got our online modules too.
Yeah, you probably have them both. Yeah. That's why I love conferences. I like conferences because then like you listen to different people talk and you learn so much stuff. And
we just had one. We had the 38th parallel, and sometimes our providers will teach at those conferences or give a brief or something, which is nice.
Cool.
Because I'm like, I know you. I'll listen to you talk.
Yeah. How often do you guys have conferences?
Shoot, I'm sure there's more that I'm not familiar with. The 38th parallel is yearly, and I know our surgeons sometimes, just being in Korea, they try and like do something with host nation facilities that I'm not too familiar with, but definitely yearly at a minimum. But there's more that I don't go to.
Yeah, gotcha. We want to take a quick break from this episode to talk about the industry leader in travel nurse staffing, American Mobile, combining the largest network of facilities and providers in the country with top-level benefits like higher earning potential, premium health insurance, and 401k matching. American Mobile puts you in the driver's seat of your travel nursing career. Make sure to visit americanmobile.com today to discover a world of adventure with American Mobile. That's americanmobile.com, the first step towards your next travel nursing adventure. So within military nursing, I mean, can you have all different types of specialties within the hospital, like med surg, L&D, ICU, psych, all of that, or are they roped into larger categories?
No, we do. So the hospitals that we work in, they're all, like, I work at an Army hospital, an Army community hospital. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we have L&D, was where I delivered this year or last year. We have a psych ward, we have the ED, we have a med surg unit, a surgery clinic. So we have all those things. And then as far as nurses go, we have here at this hospital, we have ICU nurses, we have the tangos like myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we have military L&D nurses. We might. It just depends on what is like allocated to that facility that big Army picks. But yeah, for sure, we have all different specialties and all different wards in the hospitals.
And is it all military staff, or is it also civilian staff? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so here we have civilians, we have Korean nationals who work alongside us. And then it just depends on your duty station, right? So some in San Antonio, it was a joint base. So it was Air Force, Army, and Navy nurses. Okay. Here is just Army nurses at my hospital, but there's another Air Force base in Korea. And so they have Air Force nurses. So just, it's all dependent on where you work, but definitely all specialties can go everywhere as long as there's a need. You just have to find a spot for you to go, but you can go pretty much anywhere.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. When you set up your day, as far as like a nursing day, like a ER hospital day, is it pretty, I guess, walk through your day for me, and like we can like figure out like what's different between military nursing and civilian nursing.
So if it's, well, it depends, right? So if it's a day that I'm scheduled to work in the ER, then I wake up, do my thing, get ready, go to work, do my 12-hour shift, and come home. Probably the only difference is when I get dressed, sometimes I put my rank on my badge so people know that I'm an officer. Other than that, I don't think there's much of a difference if it's just a hospital shift. And then again, that is duty station specific, right? Because here I don't PT in the morning because I work 12-hour shifts. At prior duty stations, I would have to PT in the morning. And that, I mean, it just depends. If it's a day that I'm working with my unit, I'll get up, go to PT, come home, shower, change, throw on my uniform, not throw it on, put on my uniform.
Very nicely put it on.
Yeah, very nicely. Put it on and then go to the team room. And then it just depends on what we have scheduled for that day. It could be, like I said, anything from, we have to go shoot on the range, or this past year they did some like aquatics survival training. I didn't go because I was pregnant, but it was super awesome. Like learning how to, survive in the water in a uniform. Yeah. Boots are heavy, like all that kind of stuff. So it really just depends on the day, because I do really different things.
And you're with your unit one day a week?
At a minimum. I usually go in. Yeah. It just depends. The enlisted soldiers that are assigned to my unit are there a lot more, and they're like the backbone of my unit. They keep that thing running. And then the officers, just because we're all, the docs and nurses, we have to work in the hospital.
Sure.
We come in at a minimum once a week, and that's just this unit here.
So then are you working 36-hour weeks then, or do you work more than that?
I would say it's closer to 40 or 44.
Okay. How has COVID really affected like your day-to-day over the last, I don't know, year?
Well, it's inundated the ER for sure. Right. And then day-to-day, I mean, I still go to work. That hasn't really changed anything. It's affected mainly just, like you can't really travel
Yeah.
much, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm restricted to just staying on post for now. I live off post, but
Hmm.
I go on post just to do things, and I'm not really supposed to go out and about, which is good, right? We're trying to keep the COVID level numbers
Hmm.
down. But for me, I mean, other than making it kind of difficult at work, which I think for all nurses, it's COVID's just kind of made everything super difficult. I don't think it's made like much of a difference, not on my army career or
Yeah.
nursing side, really. I
Right.
think we're all just
Yeah.
on the struggle bus with COVID.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, in your job, it's like, okay, this is happening in the world, but we still have to respond in this structured
Right.
way. And like,
Right.
that's not going to change.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you just kind of adapt.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we've all adapted so much now. And like our unit will go in waves, like we'll have like low COVID numbers and then it'll like all come back and then we'll be full again and then we're like in,
Yeah.
we're in this wave right now too. And yeah, you just adapt. You just
What
roll
kind
with
of
the
unit are you working on
punches.
now?
I'm in the COVID ICU.
Oh, well,
I'm
yeah.
yeah, so we go in waves. I was med surge technically for like 7 year whenever like until last year. I was for 3 years I was in neuro med surge, and then I traveled for 4 years as an acute care med surge nurse, and then
Oh,
I
nice.
came back permanently and wanted to be an ICU. I just wanted to change a pace.
Yeah.
So, and I really liked it so far. It was a really good change. I think I just really wanted to focus on one or two patients and like know everything about them and just be really involved in their care, and like the rapport between physicians is different, and like you just work more with the nurses, I think, whereas before it was like, you have 4 or 5 people and you're just running from room to room, and you're making a lot more conversations with like your patients and your techs. And I just wanted more like of a relationship with like my other coworkers. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
That's good.
it's been good so far. Yeah, I've really liked it.
A little change is good.
Yeah, little changes like, and I think that's what we've been seeing in civilian nursing so much is like you need to figure out what's going to work for you, and a lot of people are
Yeah.
burned out where they are right now, and it's important to just figure out where your niche is within
Yeah.
nursing to figure out what's not going to burn you out right now, because it's been so hard the
Yeah,
last two
for sure.
years. So
We'll make it through.
I know
one,
we would.
one day at a time. One day at a
Yeah.
time.
So, what's next for you within the military? Do you have any plans to move out of ER or trauma, or are you like where you are?
I like where I am. I'm not sure what I want to be when I grow up. The wonderful thing about the Army is you can go back to school. It's a program called LFET, which is long-term health education training.
Cool.
Um, and they offer several things like the dual MBA, MHA program, CRNA school, um, CNSs,
Awesome.
psych NPs, ER NPs, some like an FMP program.
Yeah.
And I cannot decide if and what I want to do. I definitely know I'm going to stay in because I truly love nursing in the Army. I think it's afforded me a lot of opportunities um, so far, but I think I'm just going to lean in a little bit to ER and trauma and see if I can do some courses and just see what else see what else I can do.
Yeah.
But I haven't
Yeah, but
decided yet.
you were just saying it's offered you so many opportunities too. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to joining the military as a nurse, right? I mean, your school is
Mhm.
paid for.
Yeah, there's a few incentives. So your school is paid for if you have a scholarship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you could do what I did. I didn't have a scholarship, but I did do HPLRP, which is Health Loan Repayment Program. So my loans were paid off later.
Okay.
Um, and in turn, I just served 2 more years,
I
which
see.
that's already done, you
Right.
know?
You were going to do anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And then for critical care nurses, and I'm sure the other specialties too, I just don't know because I'm in my little ER world. If you pass your CEN or CCRN, there's a bonus. So that's another incentive,
Cool.
right? Every year you get a bonus. Of course, you have to give more time in service, but
Mm-hmm.
if you like what you do, it's really like, okay, I'll keep going to work. That's not a
Yeah.
problem. Sure.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you like it. You love it so much.
Me too.
I had another question earlier and it was about, we talked a little bit about how the trajectory as far as getting into military nursing, like right out of the gate, and it's a little different if you like, how do you get into military nursing?
Sure.
Like, what are the different avenues to get in?
Yeah, so there's me, which is like an ROTC grad. So you go to school, you do ROTC, and then when you graduate, you accept a commission. At that point, you can either go active duty or reserves. So I'm active duty. So this is like my full-time job, as opposed
Yeah.
to if I went into the reserves, I would be a civilian nurse and then do Army training like once a month or whatever
Okay.
that requirement would be. And then you could be a direct commission. So if you already have some years in the civilian sector, 2 or 3 years, ICU, ER, whatever it may be, L&D, you can commission as well. And so depending on how much time you have as a civilian nurse in whatever field, that's worked out with the powers that be of like what rank you'll come in as, maybe not a second lieutenant, maybe a first lieutenant.
Okay.
And then you'll kind of and this is just kind of what I've seen, right? You kind of like match up to your peers as far as rank goes. So like, actually, I have a friend named Maggie, and she was traveling like last year. It's kind of weird. Yeah, right? Do you know my Maggie? But she's a first lieutenant right now, and she should be pitting on captain soon. So she'll kind of like match up to me. Granted, I'm still ahead of her as far as like when I'll pit on major. But she didn't come in as a second lieutenant. And in fact, she might have been reserves. But either way, you can join a myriad of different ways. You just have to find a recruiter and be like, this is what I know, this is what I've done, this is where I want to go. And they're pretty good about kind of working out, getting you in.
Yeah. I know a guy. We could get you in.
Right. I know a guy. Come on over. Cool. The water's nice.
Yeah, the water. Right? You can travel.
I mean, you can. You can travel. You will travel.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not, you will travel.
Do you have any say, like, after you leave Korea, is there any say in where you go next?
So actually what's interesting is there's a new process. It's called AIM. I actually haven't done it yet. This will be my first time doing it. And it's supposed to make it more transparent for like where you go to next. But essentially we have like a little resume that I put everything that I've done, all my stuff in there. And then I'm in a winter PCS cycle. So all the jobs available to me for when I'm due to move will show. And then basically I'm supposed to like pick some people and try to interview with them. So I do kind of have a say and they have a say, right? And then if they like me and I like them, we match each other and that's where I'll go next.
I see.
It's a new process. Like I said, I haven't done it yet. Mine literally opens up here in a few weeks. So I'll let you know how it works. But
yeah, please.
Hopefully,
I want to know where you
I do
go
have
next.
a little bit of a say.
Hopefully
I'm trying to come home.
Yes.
I want to go to DC so bad.
Oh, man. It would be great to see you after so long.
I know.
And your little babies.
Oh, yes. My little babies. Oh. They're nuts.
But you can come see them. I feel like Korea is all they know, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, Luca, my son, he was born in Texas. Okay. But I mean, he came over here when he was 1, so
yeah.
I mean, yeah. And Gemma was born here, so all she knows is Korea.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Well, it was so great to see you. And thank you so much for coming up and talking with us today. This was awesome.
My pleasure.
That brings us to the end of the show. Thanks for tuning in to Nursing Uncharted. To learn more about today's episode, make sure to explore the show notes at americanmobile.com/nursinguncharted. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a guest. If you're a nurse interested in traveling, visit americanmobile.com to explore the largest database of travel nursing jobs in the industry and the amazing benefits that American Mobile has to offer. Also, a special thanks to producer Jonathan Carey, assistant producers Katie Schraubman and Sam McKay, and Aiden Dykes for the music and editing. Until next time, take care of yourself.